House supports the imposition of sanctions to compel adherence to international human rights standards. Before we go very far, we need to first understand what is the meaning of today's debate. We look at the key terms to understand it better. One, look at imposition, whereby this is the act of introducing something such as a new law or rule. Look at sanctions, whereby these are restrictive measures against individuals, entities, bodies, including state and non-state actors responsible for or involved in or associated with serious abuses against human rights. We look at sanctions which involve economic sanctions, diplomatic sanctions, and military sanctions. Look at whereby compelling adherence, this is to force adherence, to really these people should be submissive to the adherence we're looking at. Look at international human rights standards. This is a set of principles or norms that are internationally recognized or as fundamental rights inherent to all individuals, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, religion, or any other status. Look at supporting, we agree with this thing. Look at what is the status quo. Look at whereby the sanctions began as early as 1980.
Panel, these sanctions, Team Affirmative is telling us that the only way that we have to compel international human rights or fundamental human rights to these people, that people to be able to get their human rights, they need only sanctions. But panel, look at the world where there is only sanctions. Remember, they have targeted sanctions. Remember, if you target sanctions, even though you target one person, remember that person is having people they are looking onto that person, and then those sanctions that they are targeting to, they will end up also affecting these people, these vulnerable people that they are trying to cater about, because they target that person, and that person has people that is taking care of. Like when you sanction your mother, and that mother is the mother and the father of the people, of the children. Take a look, those children, where are they going to get? Like if you sanction the accounts of them, if you freeze the account of the mother, where are the children going to get education from? Where are the children going to? That means these children, they are suffering when they don't know. That means their human rights are violated when the targeted sanctions they are talking about. They will also, in those sanctions, they'll also end up violating the human rights of these innocent people.
When Team Negative presents us a case telling us that what about the people looking onto this person, then the question stands, what about the people whose rights he has violated? So what solution do they give to us which will not affect the other people? When you talk about diplomacy, which kind of diplomacy are you going to use that's not going to affect the other people? We realize that at the other days, in our plan at the other days, when we tell you that we support the imposition of sanctions, we show you that we have a legal framework which shows that we will handle the people of this person. If this person was the breadwinner, we will see a way of handling the people of this person, so that does not get an excuse of staying as a human rights violator, yet is saying that has people to look after. And the data is what we tell you. They are telling us that what if you target the government of Uganda? The question is, when a government that you're talking about has violated people's rights, is it the whole government? A certain person has to be the perpetrator of the violation, which means we pick that person, and that is the person we are going to look at. When we ask them what sanctions are, they tell us that these are economic and political measures, which shows that they have little knowledge or know about sanctions.
Their sanction will not work. Look, a person who is in the village, how will they sanction such a person? In first place, they come on board and contradict, whereby they tell us that this diplomacy will not work because someone will be in hiding. Then, how will their sanction work when this person is in hiding? They fail to know that actually when someone violates someone's rights, it is the responsibility of people who are there to take the dialogue between this person. They fail to know what type of dialogue we are talking about. They're actually talking about the guidance and counseling. At the end of the day, you will realize that these sanctions are not going to be of any value. You are a business person and your assets are not frozen. At the end of the day, you will engage in business. Where in their side, they will actually promoting poverty. There is no any problem they are solving by bringing about sanctions.
Negative is not compelling, or it's not agreeing on the imposition of sanctions to compel to adherence to human rights standards. What do they bring to us? One, they bring diplomacy, technical assistance, dialogue, and counseling. Now let's take a deeper look on the weight of the problem and the cost of the solution. They are bringing up diplomacy, technical assistance, and dialogue and counseling. That means if I violate a certain person's right, or I violate a certain community's rights, at the end of the day, you cancel me, even you don't cancel those people that I have violated. At the end of the day, you want the sustainability, effectiveness of this type of approach, because at the end of the day they're looking at technical assistance. Are you going to give me money to violate more rights? Are you going to give me more money or more funds or more technical assistance to do any other type of violation of human rights? That's what they try to bring to us, because at the end of the day they don't justify the sustainability and effectiveness of their approaches. Now they talk about diplomacy and even dialogue plus counseling, because who are you going to be diplomatic to? That means if today I do this human rights violation, that means even tomorrow I may do it because there is diplomacy, dialogue, and even counseling, and which is not sustainable. We are looking for a sustainable way and an effective way in order to adhere to these human rights standards, which is the imposition of sanctions. Two, today's clashing points were about the outcomes of the imposition of sanctions in Uganda, because at the end of the day, we pose this thing because team negative is looking about the South Africa sanctions, and at the end of the day, sanctions were given to the Dutch government that was there by then, not to buy any more guns, and at the end of the day, there was no any other apartheid policy in South Africa. Take a look example of Salva Kiir, because after being imposed a sanction on, we are not still registering more of human rights violation in South Sudan. At the end of the day, are increasing that you are putting pressure on these people. I would love to re-echo back our plan as team affirmative.
We provide the legal frameworks. Now, what does team affirmative? Let them come and give us any specific example where they actually provide these legal frameworks, where they were actually able to provide what they call as support to the innocent people. They failed to give us any of those examples. Ladies and gentlemen, they come and give us examples of South Africa. But ladies and gentlemen, we come and see that when these governments actually sanction South Africa, when they sanction these individuals, as they say the Dutch governments, you actually see that no support was given to the innocent people. We are actually seeing that these people will just come and sanction these people, and at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they won't be able to cater for the innocent people. But it's against where I came and told them that, look, these sanctions can even be politically motivated, whereby you're actually seeing that recently
To protect this resolution. Team affirmative used this resolution with PI analysis, effective analysis, and long-term achievement analysis. We actually see that actually in our side, where diplomacy is effective compared to their side, where they are sanctioning someone. Well, we show them that actually when you take somebody for diplomacy, you're actually solving two problems: poverty and at the same time human rights violation. But this is team affirmative, which believe that the moment they actually sanction a person, they are solving human rights violation. At the end of the day, they are violating his rights. We look on PI analysis. We actually ask them, the person who is sanctioned, doesn't he have dependable person? They fail to show us how do they solve the problems of such people who are depending on that sanctioned person, because they depend on the assets this person is also getting from other people that they have sanctioned. Look, where they come on board and actually tell us that they raise a POI that how can you go for diplomacy and dialogue without sitting with someone. But outside from